you with us here on opening night 2023. And taking the tip for Georgia Southern, Carlos Curry against Tafari Gapari. And it's belonged to the Yellow Jackets. And Gapari, the transfer from UMass, a floater in the lane, left it short, and Curry secures the rebound. The Eagles starting a number of their transfers. Malik Tidwell checking in as well. And you take a look at Derek Harris Jr., Cam Bryant, Avante Parker, and Carlos Curry. And a turnover that time in the pass from Cam Bryant.
Yeah, Cam Bryant got ahead of himself right there. Had the dribble drive to the paint, but just threw it out of bounds. We see man-to-man defense, Wiley, out of the gate for both teams.
And for the Yellow Jackets, look at their starting five. Miles Kelly, their returning star from a year ago. Kowacie Reeves Jr., transfer from Florida. Amari Abram from Ole Miss. Tyzhaun Claude from Western Carolina. And Tafari Gapari from UMass. And our first foul of the game is going to be charged to Cam Bryant. Our officials tonight, Ron Groover, Jenna Renault, and Joe Switzer.
And 4 of Georgia Tech's transfers are in the starting lineup. So although you return 4 previous starters 60% of your scoring, it shows the level of talent they got in the transfer class.
Kelly lifts a 3. No good. And an offensive rebound for Tyzhaun Claude. He was the best in the Southern Conference last year and collecting offensive boards for the Western Carolina Catamounts. 6 on the shot clock. Abram backs off. He's pressed by Malik Tidwell. 2 seconds. 1. Heaving it up. And they will let it play on. No, shot clock violation. Avante Parker had the rebound. Freshman making his collegiate debut. But, man, I mean, he showed some serious stuff. 25 in blue. He had 28 points in their exhibition loss to Augusta. 28 for the freshman.
Super talented, and that was a great defensive possession for Georgia Southern, really challenging the Jackets on the perimeter, contesting shots.
Derek Harris Jr., his jumper won't fall. Carlos Curry going up strong, and he'll have a chance to break the seal here from the free throw line. That foul's going to go against Amari Abram.
And Carlos Curry, 6'11", 240, out of Albany, Georgia. He's a grad senior. And assistant coach Maurice Spates for Georgia Southern, a guy we'll talk about, you know, tonight. He brings a wealth of experience to this team as an NBA player, obviously a great player at Florida, but to have an influence like that on a guy like Curry, who's getting his confidence and his length, he's going to have a great year.
So Curry hits the free throw, just a 64% shooter last year, and Georgia Southern's on the board first. But for Mo Spates, you know, he said Carlos Curry reminds him of himself and that they both started playing basketball relatively late in life. Curry didn't start playing basketball until his freshman year of high school. His sister encouraged him to pick it up. Abram fires at the corner. Claude, a triple, won't fall. And another offensive rebound for the Jackets. Kelly's got it. Going to work against Harris. Short. Kelly again, and finally, he knocks it down. The Jackets missed their first 5 shots, but Miles Kelly, their leading scorer from a year ago, puts up the first bucket. Tidwell out to Curry, who lets it fly, and he swishes it. Carlos Curry, that's one more three-pointer than he hit all of last season, John.
That's a game changer. Confidence, stepped in, baseline drive, throw back behind the defense. Great offensive execution by Georgia Southern.
He started 26 games last year for Georgia Southern, 0 for 2 from 3 across the entire year. 1 for 1 to start the season. As Kelly's layup off the glass is well short. Now the Eagles want to run. Harris fires a long-range 3. And the rebound belongs to Claude. Jackets just 1 for 7 to begin things here in the season opener.
Yeah, Wiley, we've covered many games here at Georgia Tech, and the energy coming off the Georgia Southern bench right now is palpable.
And Abram can't get it to fall, but he will earn a couple of free throws. Foul's going to go against Derek Harris.
Air dribble drive, middle penetration. right there, we get the blocking foul. Feet were not established. Yellow Jackets will go to the free throw line. And this will be a key stat tonight, is getting to the line, putting fouls on the opponent, but converting.
Abram, the transfer from Ole Miss, misses the first. It's your point, John. Georgia Southern was minus 19 in free throw attempts in their loss to Augusta. Georgia Tech was minus 20 in their win over Clark Atlanta.
And one thing, both coaches, having listened to interviews, and we spoke with Coach Henry yesterday, they want to limit fouls, keep the opponent off the free throw line. Those were trends that they saw in their exhibitions and close scrimmages.
Well, Abram misses both free throws, and now Malik Tidwell sends it over to Jamar Franklin. Bryant looking to go baseline. Reeves closes it off. Cross-court pass. And Tyron Moore buries Georgia Southern's second three. Coming off the bench.
And again, Wiley, we see the dribble drives baseline, collapse the Yellow Jacket defense, and throw back behind the defense. Two great shots right there. Nice pump fake. Had Miles Kelly in the air.
And that layup won't fall for Kelly. Georgia Tech 1 for 8 now from the floor. And the Eagles on a 6-0 run. And there's a block from Tafara Gapari. He's an exciting package of athleticism and length, isn't he, John?
Oh, he's tremendous. And with subs coming off the bench, Sturdivant for the Yellow Jackets. He's a guy that can really impact the game, Wiley.
Also joining him entering the ball game, E.B. Dewana, number 10, a transfer from NC State. So baseline inbounds. This will be Moore. He was third on the team in scoring last year, and he gets it into the freshman Colin Cole. Georgia Southern 2 for 5 from the floor. 4 of those 5 shots have been from the three-point range. Moore crossing over Sturdivant, gets a step. And they'll say he stepped on the baseline. It'll be Georgia Tech basketball when we come back. But Georgia Southern debuting a new skill. Shooting the three, Carlos Hurry. First three. Georgia Southern coming off what was a disappointing 2022-23 season. 500 in the Sun Belt Conference, finishing 8th. And making a change, hiring Charlie Henry after relieving Brian Berg. And there you see Coach Henry. John, we see his resume. It includes assistant coach in the NBA, head coach in the G League, assistant at the Power 5 level. In college, what do you make of him as a head coach stepping into his first ever Division I head coaching job?
I think just the wealth of experience and the mentors that he's been around. A guy like Fred Hoiberg, during his time with him in the NBA and at Iowa State. Great mentor, great mind of the game, and you can see it influences coaching. I mean, Georgia Tech 1 of 8 from the floor, the energy palpable off this bench right here. That's all coaching, the culture he's setting.
Here comes Malik Tidwell, taking on the contact, and the 5th-year senior at his 5th school in as many years, his first ever Division I opportunity. He's got a chance to put some points up on the board.
And again, transition, easy baskets in transition or putting fouls on the Jackets. A nice start here. Tidwell, very good job absorbing the contact, making a play out of nothing.
Redshirt senior from Chicago. Misses the first free throw. Last year he played at Bluefield State in West Virginia. He averaged 21 points a night. Sub coming in for Georgia Southern. This is Nate Bradford.
And Tidwell, interesting stat, Wiley. 1 of 5 current D1 men basketball players to be playing for his 5th team. How about that? There's the transfer portal in action right there.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. Hits the second free throw. Bryant and Stratton in Wisconsin, Morton College in Illinois, Missouri State in West Plains, Missouri. He even had his senior year in California, moved high schools after his junior year.
And 66 career double-doubles. So he put up numbers everywhere he went.
He sure did. That's 0 in blue. Kelly cuts in right side of the lane, loses it. Another turnover for the Yellow Jackets. 1 of 9 from the floor and 3 turnovers now. Tyron Moore hanging, can't hit. And Colin Cool, the freshman, ripping down the rebound as E.B. Dewana is called for the over the back.
Yeah, and right now the story for the Jackets, you know, early season jitters. Here you see again, dribble drive, putting pressure on the defense, and then good hustle. Both sides of the basketball right there. Two guys competing. But I think for Georgia Tech, just need to settle in. You know, they've got the nerves, only one field goal. We're almost 6 minutes into play, so the game will slow down.
Reeves looking for the rebound, and I think that time Cam Bryant, no, they're going to call Nate Bradford on the foul there. Coach Damon Stoudemire, great at Arizona, led the Wildcats to the Final Four his junior year. Making his debut as the head coach of the Yellow Jackets. Kyle Sturdivant, hardly his debut. In fact, he's the only remaining player from that 2021 ACC championship team.
And important to note, Yellow Jackets playing without Lance Terry, second
Yes.
leading scorer on the roster last season, averaged 10 points per game. That's a big loss. Toughness, experience, ball handling ability.
Three-pointer off the mark. Tech has missed the last 4 shots now. But to your point, Lance Terry out, also missing Bayan Dongo, who's going to be a key piece to their front court, freshman from Senegal. But we're going to look at a different freshman piece of the front court here, Ibrahima Sakho from Conakry, Guinea.
Top 3 prospect coming out of Canada in 2023, so highly touted, good get for Coach Stoudemire and staff.
Yeah, he moved to Canada for his senior year, and reaching in that time. This is going to be on Sakho.
And Sakho was the MVP of the Beach Ball Classic down in Myrtle Beach. It's been around for years and one of the best high school tournaments there is.
6'6", 225, and they say the real strength he brings to this team is his defensive prowess. A little overeager that time. Yellow Jackets haven't scored in over 4 minutes. Bryant, too strong. Dewana the rebound. Sturdivant looking for a transition, and Sakho had his foot on the line. I don't think he was anticipating that pass, John.
No, he was running wide, filling the lane, trying to get up the court, and on the pitch ahead, just grazed the sideline with his right foot. An unfortunate turnover by the Jackets.
So Tech 1 of 10 from the floor, 4 turnovers. Tyzhaun Claude coming in. He averaging 15 points and 9 rebounds a night at Western Carolina last year. There's not a transfer on this roster that was more productive at their previous school than Claude. Tidwell going up against Sturdivant. Baseline. Curry's teardrop is short. And Carlos Curry not only missed the shot, but he's called for the foul that time. A little frustration.
Yeah, and that's you know, one I wish he probably wishes he had back. That's a foul you don't want to give. Georgia Southern needs his size on the floor, so got to watch the foul trouble on Curry.
Sturdivant watched by Tidwell as he crosses midcourt. Long cross court, Abram. That's Deebo Coleman, who's just checked in for the first time tonight. Another returner for the Yellow Jackets, 1 of 4 on scholarship. And he triggers a 3, burying it. Big sigh of relief.
The best pure shooter for the Yellow Jackets, a guy who scored 2,500 plus points in his high school career in Florida. That's what he does well.
As a freshman, he shot over 40% from 3. High arcing triple, won't go for Tidwell. Now the Yellow Jackets with a little bit of momentum. Apron going against Avante Parker there, the freshman. Coleman saves it, but it's right to Bradford. Tidwell. Bradford's three-pointer. And last touch by Curry.
Still a one-possession game. That's the that's the silver lining for the Yellow Jackets. They've had 4 turnovers. As poor as they've shot the ball, it's still a one-possession game. So I'd look for the Jackets to settle down, be disciplined on the offensive attack, and start taking advantage of their length, their size, and get some dribble drives in the half court, some paint touches.
Is that where they can go for an easy look? Because right now, both teams 2 for 11. Whoever finds their rhythm first offensively is going to have the edge.
Unless we get a uniform for you, Wiley. I mean, I know you can shoot the ball.
You would be sorely mistaken. Foul here on Avante Parker. And that media timeout came at just the right time. Georgia Southern 8, Georgia Tech 5. Georgia Tech coming off a 15-18 season a year ago, saw them finish 13th in the ACC, and John, just a nightmarish start to the conference season, losing 10 of their first 11. They couldn't climb out of that hole.
Yeah, again, not a lot of confidence coming out of the gate last season, but it's a new season, Wiley, and like I said, with Kelly, Coleman, Sturdivant, and Terry, that's 60% of your scoring from this last season returning, plus the 17th ranked transfer class in the nation. I mean, that's something to work with for Coach Stoudemire.
And for whatever reason tonight, both these teams not shooting as well as we anticipated. In fact, the Yellow Jackets are now 0 for 3, 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Deebo Coleman has got 4 of their 5 points, or 6 points rather.
But right there, that's where you can get it going. When you're slumping from shooting from the perimeter, get a couple easy baskets, get to the free throw line, and that turns the momentum, gets the confidence going.
Jamar Franklin reversing and laying it in, the transfer from South Alabama.
And that was too easy. I mean, he was uncontested, not a lot of resistance defensively.
Chris pass to the corner, Sacco baseline. Opposite end 3, Coleman left it short, offensive rebound for Tyzhaun Claude, and he'll go to the line.
A nice baseline drive, find the open shooter in the corner, high percentage shot, just didn't fall. But then you get the hustle play. Get on the backboard, get fouled, go to the free throw line. When it's not going in, that's the way you win games. You got to find your offense, manufacture it. Transition, too. We haven't seen much transition offense.
Last foul was on Carlos Curry. That's his second now. So he'll come out of the game here as Cam Bryant comes in. Tyzhaun Claude at the line. Led the SoCon in rebounds per game with Western Carolina last year as a third-team All-Sunbelt selection. He's got a chance for a couple more after the rebound from Sacco, and it's going to belong to Georgia Tech here. I beg your pardon, Georgia Southern. Oh, no, they're saying a foul first. Okay.
So Georgia Tech catches a break there, Wiley, and that's, need a little luck. When the ball's not dropping, hang around, three-point game, one possession. And both teams going to the bench, Wiley. Yep. There's some depth on both these rosters.
Well, they're trying to find somebody who can make a bucket.
That too.
Claude hits the free throw, and here comes Colin Cool back. Avante Parker, fellow freshman, checks out. But Claude, he had double digits in 27 of 28 games last year. Again, of all the transfers, you've got some SEC transfers coming in, but Claude, from a statistical standpoint, was the most productive at Western Carolina. Yeah, 11 double-doubles, really rebounded the ball well, and that's what he brings to this team, a wealth of playing experience, number one. He's a mature guy, he's athletic, and he can get it done. And Abram can't connect the pass to Sacco, but rebounding, that was a question you had about this Georgia Tech team, John, something that was an item you want to watch not just tonight, but the next couple of months as we begin this season. Yeah, I think it's got to be a rebound by committee. Obviously, we've seen man-to-man defense. It's assignment box outs, gang rebounding, need the guards to dig in. But I don't see, your 7-footer that's just going to corral every rebound. It's got to be a sum of the parts. Yeah, no 7-footers, but everyone on this team 6'3" or taller. So there is some good size, some good length in that, 6'6" to 6'9" range. Three-pointer, Abrams drains it. Jackets now with a 2-point lead.
And the Yellow Jacket faithful and fans are starting to get into it.
And that is one piece of this team that Tech fans were excited about, was the three-point shooting. Abram led Ole Miss. Alley-oop look for Sacco, and it won't roll in.
But that's okay. That's 2 consecutive stops defensively into easy transition offensive looks. That's the trend you want to see if you're Coach Stoudemire.
Moore gets his man in the air and takes it to the basket. He wanted contact, but he's got a bucket, tied at 12. Sturdivant, three-pointer off the bounce. Kyle Sturdivant, looking like the guy we saw at the end of last season.
And got his feet set, rocked the defense back, got them on their heels, and then knocked it down. High percentage 3 from the top of the key for Sturdivant.
Looking for an answer. Bryant, a chance for a 4-point play as this senior dupes the freshman Sacco.
And that was deep with some range. We'll get a look at that one again. Defensive is like, hey, is he really going to pull this? You know, not a lot of scouting report and film out yet, and bam.
Well, if you combine Carlos Curry and Cam Bryant, again, 2 of the veterans on this Georgia Southern team, they went a combined 1 for 9 from three-point land all of last year. Tonight, they're 2 for 2. Go figure.
Oh, Charlie Henry prides himself on player development. Obviously, you know, whether it was in the G League, the development league, formerly that the NBA called it, that's what he was hired to do, develop players. And so, you know, those are key signs of players working in the offseason on their shooting and their form, their technique, and more importantly, the mental side, the confidence.
So a 4-point play for Cam Bryant. Georgia Southern noses back in front. Abram with a little space. Reverses. Kapari. Way long. Rebound to Bryant.
And Georgia Tech, nothing manufactured offensively out of that play, but I love the design coming out of a timeout. Coach Stoudemire, you know, calling one in out of the timeout. It wasn't there to develop, but we see you, Coach. I saw that action.
It looks like Georgia Tech's trying to push the pace a little bit too, and that time Abram's feet got away from him.
And turnovers, you know, that's one thing. Yellow Jackets will need to take care of the basketball here down 1 point. You know, you want to see that assist-to-turnover ratio turn around.
Yeah, right now it's 2 assists and 6 turnovers for Georgia Tech.
That's not going to cut it in a 40-minute game if that trend continues.
This is Harris. Cam Bryant, he just nailed that three-pointer a moment ago. And it's ripped away. Gapari, Euro step, and 2. Tafara Gapari.
The agility, the finesse, the sidestep. Beautiful action.
If you talk about ceiling on this team, John, he might have the most of it of anybody.
I saw it right there. I'm a believer.
Transfer from UMass, product of New Zealand. Cam Bryant can't hit that three-pointer, and it's Georgia Tech basketball.
Now let's look at this. The size, the grace, the ability to sidestep the defender and finish at the cup. You said it right there, the length. Watch that. Boom. Made it look easy.
Yeah, he had limited playing time, but was second on UMass in blocks. That length plays on both ends of the floor. And that's a question, too. Will Georgia Tech have a rim protector this year? As Kelly goes to Dewana, and he flicks it out. Gapari's there to retrieve the loose ball. Again going in. And it'll stick with Georgia Tech. Thought it might have gone off Dewana, but they say it went off cool. 7:45 first half. Teams finding their rhythm offensively. But it's been the returners that have put up most of the points tonight. Meanwhile, for the Yellow Jackets, a 50-50 split between transfers and returners. And for Tech, they bring in the 17th ranked transfer class. John, what does this group bring to Georgia Tech this year?
Experience, number one. A collective 263 games played, 116 starts. And like you say, 50% of the points and rebounds right now, you know, responsibility of those grad transfers or transfers coming in.
And for the 5 players on the floor right now, transfers for the Jackets. And another turnover for Georgia Tech, their 7th. And now Kyle Sturdivant in for Amari Abram.
You know, and you can see the length, the size, the length, the athleticism specific to the transfers that came in with Coach Stoudemire. You know, his coaching staff, tremendous. Carl Hobbs, Terry Parker, Pershing Williams, and then player development. Bonzi Wells, former NBA player, Nate Babcock, G League assistant coach, Hawks player development coach. So he's got a great staff to develop these guys.
And the first freshman to score here on opening night, Colin Cool from Holly Springs, North Carolina, his first career points. Georgia Southern ahead by 1. Reeves, baseline, and he's going to get called for the charge. Colin Cool, a bucket on one end, and he draws the charge on the other.
Making his impact felt on both sides of the court right there. Had the feet set. Nice job by Cool, giving one up for the team.
Now that is a change this year in college basketball, John. You can be called as a defender for a blocking foul if you are not set before the offensive player leaves the ground. That's a change this year. It used to be by the time you guys meet.
And that's an adjustment for sure, and it's just to clean up the game. It's a tough call to make as an official, and it's progress in our game.
There's a look at Mayor Andre Dickens there, sitting courtside, Georgia Tech alum.
He's doing great things around the city. He's got a Mayor's Midnight Basketball League going on with City of Atlanta Parks and Rec, so big-time hoop fan. Mayor Andre Dickens out supporting the Jackets. Georgia Southern answers again, a dribble drive, nice finish off the backboard.
Yeah, that time it was Jamar Franklin, and we mentioned he's a transfer from South Alabama. That I think Georgia Tech fans to ponder, well, maybe that's related to Javon Franklin. No relation. Javon Franklin transfer from South Alabama to Tech. Last year, Jamar Franklin from South Alabama to Georgia Southern. A couple of misses from Georgia Tech, but offensive rebounds. Tech just 5 of 20 from the floor so far tonight. They started 1 of 10, though. And Duwana gets the block that time. And he will go to the line. E.B. Duwana, tallest player on this roster at 6'11". So they get Nate Bradford for the foul.
Yeah, and Bradford had time. He just moved right at the end. I got to think I would move, too, if I saw the size of the guy coming down the lane right there. Just need to square the shoulders. Feet were there. Moved right at the last minute, and Georgia Tech will go to the line.
Now, Duwana, he was a regular in the starting lineup for NC State a couple of years ago, more of a reserve last year. Spent 3 years at the Wolfpack, and now making his Yellow Jacket debut, and chance to put up some more points at the free throw line on the 1-and-1.
He was a rotation guy, 21-22 season NC State, averaged 4 points, 4 boards. That was his most quality season with the Wolfpack, but he's got experience. Again, a guy that brings in some ACC experience. It's going to help.
And Kowacie Reeves. Kowacie Reeves, wow, getting up there for the block. And he draws the foul in the process on Cam Bryant.
And how about Tafar Gapare with the closeout and then, you know, block on the defensive side of the ball outside the three-point line. That was impressive, closing the gap and getting up contesting.
So second foul on Bryant, and Georgia Tech in the bonus. It'll be 1-and-1 here for Tech. And I think we just had a technical foul assessed to Tyron Moore. Yes, a technical foul on the senior Tyron Moore. He was taking exception to the call there, I think, from Ron Gruber.
Double tech. I think they just assigned a technical foul to Miles Kelly, number 13 for the Jackets.
Okay.
I didn't see what happened while he must have been off the ball.
So yeah, double technical there on Kelly and Moore.
Not sure if it was physical or just a verbal interaction.
Now Kowacie Reeves at the line. Rivals called him a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. And he hits the first. Spent 2 years at Florida. Had a 21-point game against A&M in the SEC tournament. And he sinks both free throws here. The Yellow Jackets back in front.
Yeah, he's another guy. Had 17 starts in the SEC, so just the value of that experience and one more year to develop, well, that's going to help him.
Tidwell. Round to Moore. On the perimeter and mishandled that time from Bryant. That's a Georgia Southern turnover. That's just their 4th tonight.
And Georgia Tech defensively holding the Eagles to 29% from the field. So I know we've credited Georgia Southern, but the Jackets have looked solid in the half court defensively on most possessions.
And that was a question for Coach Stoudemire. I mean, he said going into the season that he felt like the offense was ahead of the defense. And Kelly's three-pointer off the back iron. And Tidwell corrals it.
You know, but energy, effort, and length can negate a lot of mistakes. And on both sides, both teams right now playing with high energy, high effort.
Bryant just inside the free throw line. Bryant's now got 6, leads all scorers. Kelly, a little no-look corner. Reeves hits it.
Miles Kelly throwing the dime, just on the rope, right to the corner. Great assist on that possession. Unselfish play.
It's now 4 threes for Tech. Kelly looking to run, taking on Bryant, puts a move on him, and rolls it off the fingertips. And a timeout called by Georgia Southern.
Yellow Jackets' largest lead at 4. Charlie Henry doesn't like what he sees. He's going to try to stop the bleeding.
Hired back in March, making his debut tonight for the Yellow Jackets. And John, look at that resume.
Oh, it's so impressive. It speaks for itself. But, you know, we're talking about a guy that's proven to be a builder of programs. Inherited a team that's Pacific, an 8-win team. And then a couple years later, they're 3rd in the WCC behind the Zags and St. Mary's, who seem to be always 1 and 2, but 23-win season. So you go 8 to 23. 2 years body of work. That's pretty impressive, and that's what, you know, the athletic director administration here at Georgia Tech sees. You know, they see his pedigree.
And we all know about his playing career. Mighty Mouse, as you said, rookie of the year in '96, first team All-American, Arizona in the Final Four in '94. But I'm curious, as a coach, John, as the shot clock winds down, Franklin has to let it fly. And it's tipped Miles Kelly, but offensively, you look at what the Celtics have done the last couple of years. Will it be a similar style of play, you think, for the Jackets?
Well, I think they will find their mismatches and play, you know, play the game strategically in that sense. But I think it's a different game. You play the hand you're dealt, and he's got a style of play that he wants to implement here. He's recruiting length. He wants to address defense. Shooting is paramount for what he's trying to do here. They've already started to do that, and it's a relationship business. You know, you talk a guy like Stoudemire, Carl Hobbs, the relationships they have, they're going to benefit recruiting. They're going to crush it here in Atlanta.
Yeah, Carl Hobbs, associate head coach, longtime head coach at George Washington University. And what a move that time! And a little too small there from Tyzhaun Claude. And we got a foul away from the ball that time. And it's going to be on Miles Kelly. That's his 2nd.
That's Tyzhaun, just a man, you know, gets the defense leaning, the nice drop step, use the shoulders, strong, aggressive, assertive move by Claude.
You know, Tyzhaun might be playing his first season in Atlanta, but he got the memo on the too small celebration. Little Ronald Acuna Jr., Trae Young, everybody. He's going to fit in just fine. So here's Colin Poole. Second generation Division I player. His father, Jimmy, played at Stetson back in the late 80s. In fact, Georgia Southern ended Stetson's seasons Jimmy's junior year, and Southern went to the NCAA tournament in the Trans-America Athletic Conference Championship game. Carlos Curry returning with 2 fouls here. What does that tell you, John? He's back in the game.
I just think, you know, Coach Henry wants to be close going in the half. 3 minutes, he's coaching him up. You know, don't pick up a third. Play smart basketball, but his size is a difference maker defensively.
Kelly's 3 is short. Reeves, little bump there from Curry. No call. That was close. And now we've got a foul. And this one's going to go against Tyron Moore. Curry may have gotten away with one there, John.
Yeah, he definitely got away with one. Came down from the top of the key, and he got lucky on that possession.
So Miles Kelly at the line. And we've talked so much about the transfers tonight, John, but Miles Kelly, I mean, Coach Stoudemire in his first availability back in September as they began preseason practice, he said it flat out. Miles Kelly has to play at an all-ACC level for us.
And he's very capable. I mean, I think as he meshes, learns to play with his new teammates, his skill and ability is there. He has tons of minutes under his belt. He can shoot the 3, go off the bounce. His defense is continuing to develop. So he's got the package.
Well, how about the jump he made from his freshman to his sophomore year? He was averaging about 5 points a night as a freshman. It jumped up to 14.5 points last year. That was the second largest increase in the entire ACC. Sturdivant's got the loose ball. He wants to run. No look, feed to Kapari. Has it ripped away by Tyron Moore, and Bradford's got it. Moore gets his man in the air. Oh, that was cold. Cold.
Shot fake, sidestep, nothing but net. Bottoms, 1-point game. Georgia Southern, the Eagles hanging around on Krement's court.
And Moore's now got a game-high 8 points. And before Reeves can let it go, they blow it dead. The foul is going to go against Tyron Moore. It's going to be his 3rd. He led the Eagles in 3-point shooting last year, and you know Georgia Southern's bench likes it.
Oh, absolutely. Throwing darts out there.
And Miles Kelly at the free throw line. That was about as close to automatic as it came. He missed his first 2 tonight. That was shocking because last year he set the single season free throw record, shooting 89.8%.
Yeah, not too shabby. You know, a guy named Mark Price used to be a pretty good free throw shooter here at Georgia Tech as well, but those are Mark Price-like numbers, 90%.
Yeah, and the record he broke actually belonged to Anthony Morrow.
Another great shooter out of Charlotte. Well, storied career on the flats.
And you go back to Anthony Morrow back in the mid-2000s, a foul. This is going to go against Carlos Curry. That's his 3rd. He picked it up.
So Poole will check in. He will spell Curry the last 1:45 of the half. And
Yellow Jackets, boy, they started cold, but I think what we've seen here recently is what they expect to have most of the season. And they shot 58% in their scrimmage last week against Clark Atlanta. Kapari hanging. And a foul there on Kapari. He's frustrated.
And Georgia Tech now, that's their 9th team foul. So the Eagles in the bonus, you know, fouling 94 feet from the basket, allowing the Eagles to go to the line. That's not what Coach Stoudemire wants to see as you close out the first half.
So now Jamar Franklin. We were talking about Mo Spates earlier. Jamar Franklin played his AAU ball for Mo Spates' club. There's Ibrahim Asako coming back in. Front end of a 1-and-1 here. Got it.
So shooting kind of mirrors each other. 31% for the Jackets, 32% for Georgia Southern. Jackets hold a +4 rebounding advantage. It's been a tight contest, Wiley.
Franklin hits them both. And the lead's down to 1. And the largest lead for either side has been 6 points. Georgia Southern led 8-2.
Yellow Jackets have left 7 points at the free throw line, 8 of 15. A lot of those misses coming early, you know, new season jitters.
Great move from Claude and a two-hand jam.
Get up, Tyzhaun. Shot fake, one dribble with the splash at the rim.
Final minute here in the first half. Franklin in the lane. And right over the fingertips of Tyzhaun Claude. Nice touch from Jamar Franklin. He's come alive the last couple of minutes.
Franklin's had his way with Georgia Tech's backcourt. He's getting into the paint and getting high-quality shots.
And knocked loose by Aaron Banks, the freshman checking in for the first time. No look from Sturdivant. Corner three, Sacco. And a battle for the rebound. And it's going to belong to Georgia Southern.
You know, Georgia Tech did not convert on that play, but I love the unselfishness, the court vision by Sturdivant. Gets into the paint, looks off the defender, and finds a wide open shooter. The Yellow Jacks just could not convert.
Well, it has been a balanced attack for both sides tonight. 8 different scores for Tech, 6 different scores for Southern.
And Jackets 4 of 15 from beyond the arc, 26%, but they've been high quality shots on most occasions.
Where are you going here?
In the bonus, trying to get something going to the rim.
3 seconds. Franklin, final shot. Won't go. Cool's tip in, they say does not count. They will take a look at it, but for the time being, Georgia Tech. But the bottom line is we got a 1-point game and 20 minutes to settle it.
Yeah, Deuce Dean's a guy at Hampton, 461 career assists, 1,000+ point scorer. And then Eugene Brown, probably the best player off the bench for the Buckeyes over the last couple seasons.
And Carlos Curry banging down low against Tyzhaun Claude. And he gives a little stare there to Claude as Georgia Southern delivers our 10th lead change of the night.
Coach Charlie Henry dialed that one in, coming out of the timeout or halftime. Concerted effort to go right inside to his big man and get a high percentage shot.
Kelly's three-pointer down the drain. Kelly, as we said, was Tech's top scorer a year ago, shot 38% from 3, and now a turnover. Kowacie Reeves lays it in.
He shot the gap right there. Great anticipation defensively by Kowacie, and that's what he can do. He can help on the defensive side of the ball and definitely at his best in transition.
3-point try, one dribble, and Jamar Franklin hits it. And the nerves we saw in those first couple of minutes, John, in the first half, they are long gone now.
Yeah, writing a new script for sure. We've already seen more buckets in the first minute than we did in the first 10 minutes of the first half.
Reeves, baseline, to the lane. Claude, everything but the 2. Did well. Curry in the high post. And Claude with the rebound. That's 6 boards for Claude now. Tafara Gapari went way up, and he comes up lame. It's 5-on-4 right now for Southern as Gapari hobbles back, and he is grabbing at that left leg.
I think he caught a cramp in his calf. He's grabbing at the calf, not the ankle.
And Avante Parker is on the board, the freshman stud for Georgia Southern. His first points in his Eagle career.
How about the block shot by Curry on that play? He went up and got that one.
And now a whistle here, and I think the referees opting to stop play with Kapari clearly not right. Richard Stewart, the trainer's going to go take a look at him. Here's a look at it here as he goes up.
Big time block, verticality, nice play by Curry, but I think it just came down wrong. It locked up. It looked like just a cramp, the way he landed on it.
Yeah, grabbing that left half.
That hurts. That'll stop you in your tracks.
Reeves swirls in another one. Another three-pointer for the Yellow Jackets. They've now hit their first two here to start the second half. You know, when I get cramps in my calf, John, that normally happens when I'm lying down on the couch. I get up too fast.
Reeves, the Macon, Georgia product, making his mark felt here, the Florida transfer. Had two 20-plus point games you mentioned earlier at Florida, but he's got it going in the second half.
And a little scoop there from Jamar Franklin, and a foul on the floor. Is going to go against Miles Kelly. That's going to be his third.
You see right there, swatting down at the basketball, and not a lot of contact, but that's the thing. You want to keep verticality, not bail out the offensive player. The arm swipe gives the official the opportunity to make that call.
And Jamar Franklin, who was scoreless about midway through the first half, he's now become the game's leading scorer with 12 points now. Did not start tonight. He didn't score in their exhibition, but he's been the hot hand so far for Southern. Deebo Coleman checks in for Kelly, who's got the 3 fouls.
Jamar has done a nice job tonight getting into the paint and making plays. The transfer from South Alabama, he appeared in 32 games, started in 3, but he's definitely done a nice job today getting to the paint and making plays.
And he gets some comments from his coach, Charlie Henry. Again, both head coaches making their debuts tonight at their respective programs. Charlie Henry at Georgia Southern by way of Alabama as an assistant under Nate Oates. Abrams, high to low, Sacco couldn't finish it. Now the other way, Bryant sizing up Coleman. Tyron Moore bluffs a long distance 3. He gets it inside to Carlos, and good hands as Sacco rips it away from Curry, the loose ball. Corralled by the Yellow Jackets and Amari Abram. Claude sees some space. Back out. Coleman, nobody gets the foul call.
Charlie Henry didn't like what he was seeing on that play. He thought it was clean. We'll take another look at it. Deebo, nice catch in traffic. Took the contact at the end, huh, Wiley?
Yes, he did. And, you know, his brand, John, is as a three-point shooter, but this stat really caught my eye. He was the only player in the ACC that in conference games ranked in the top 15 in rebounds, blocks, and steals. And he was top 10 in all those categories. So, look, it's no question he's going to be known offensively for his three-point shot. I mean, he took nearly 2 threes for every 3 shots he took. But he did some other things.
And I think the assistant coaches, player development coaches will, you know, their work. A guy like Bonzi Wells and Nate Babcock, 2 guys with great experience in player development. Deebo's going to continue to develop. I mean, he's a junior. He's made great strides already. And statistically, you just said it. I mean, that's impressive.
And that's one of the positives, too, John, for the NCAA greenlighting 2 more on-court coaches for college basketball this year.
Yeah, I think the time watching film, you know, on court, that work's going to get done by the entire staff. But the ability to spend time watching film and learning is, those 2 positions can really help.
And Amari Abram, a scoop, and the putback from Claude.
Tyzhaun Claude's been impressive. I mean, he's a difference maker. He's a tough matchup. If he's got a guy with slower feet, he can face up, put it on the ground, attack the boards. Here we go, almost transition by the Jackets.
Bryant, short. Offensive rebound with the right hand. That time it's Malik Tidwell.
Heavyweight fight right now, back and forth. Both teams throwing bombs. No one can shake the opponent.
Yeah, it went from being a rock fight early on to now this is more of a, like you said, a heavyweight, a title fight. Yellow Jackets have won 6 straight games against in-state competition. 2 against Georgia, 2 against Georgia State, 1 against Georgia Southern, 1 against Clayton State. We're tied at 42, under 15 minutes to go in the second half. Season poll, the top 8. And John, we were looking at some scores across the league tonight. Wake Forest picked to finish 6th. They're trailed by double digits headed towards halftime at home against Elon.
Anything can happen. We see it every year. There's so much parity in the game now, and you see the low majors knocking off the high majors every season. Georgia Tech, you see 13th. The projection right there, a little low, I think, Wiley. I think they got a chance to make some noise.
Yeah, I mean, you look at where they've been the last 2 years, John. They finished second to last 2 years ago and third to last the year before that. And when you got a new coach coming in and a bunch of unknowns in the transfer portal, I think at the very least you would not expect them to be picked high in that preseason poll. But we have seen a little more offense here in the first 5 minutes of this half than we did in the first half. Take a look at these numbers. And the Yellow Jackets lost track of the shot clock there as Dewana heard the buzzer go off as he had the ball planted in his 2 hands.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. We see scoring right there. First half, slow starts for both teams. Second half, both teams around 50% from the floor, settling in, high-quality shots. And again, I think defensively the energy's been great and consistent on both sides, and that manufactures some easier offense.
And now we've got a technical foul against Cam Bryant. That is the second technical that has been assessed to Georgia Southern. Miles Kelly also received the technical foul. See Damon Stoudemire not happy with the shot clock violation. It looked like Cam Bryant maybe had some words for the Georgia Tech bench on the shot clock violation as Abram hits the technical free throw. And Bryant's still frustrated.
Yeah, not sure what happened on that possession, but, got to quiet the noise, stay focused on the task at hand, and it's little plays like that, 1 point at the free throw line, and that could be the difference maker here in 14 minutes and 40 seconds, so we'll see.
It's a third foul as well. On Cam Bryant. And Abram hits the second. That's an area where Georgia Tech has left some points tonight, John. Now 10 for 19 rather at the free throw line. As you can see, it's been back and forth all night. And this foul will be against E.B. Dewana.
And Dewana again reaching on that possession. Just picked one up in the paint. And that will be his second personal foul.
Bradford lays it in. So you've got Cam Bryant with 3 fouls, Carlos Curry with 4.
Great execution by the Eagles on the baseline out of bounds play. I've been really impressed with the X's and O's.
Reeves left it short, but Dewana's got it. Kicks it out. Abram whips it across to the corner. Coleman can't get it to fall, but he draws the foul.
And Charlie Henry, Coach Henry not happy with that. That's an errant foul after the shot and wasn't going to go in, and Taron Moore picked up a foul. I wish he, he probably thinks he could get that one back.
And that's
coach having words with him right now.
And that's Tyron Moore's 4th foul. Foul trouble is going to be an issue from Georgia Southern from here on out. Coleman hits the first of 3. Deebo hits the second, and Colin Cool comes in for Georgia Southern. So the Eagles right now, they're going to have to rely on guys other than their top 2 or 3, Tyron Moore, Cam Bryant, and Carlos Curry. They've lost some size out there without Curry. And Coleman hits all 3 free throws. So Tech, after struggling from the free throw line in the first half, they've now hit 5 of their first 7. Trying to find a way to penetrate.
And Georgia Tech's now doubled up free throw attempts. They've been to the line 22 times as opposed to the Eagles' 11 attempts.
And Tafara Gapari says, ugh. And I think he might be a little bit lame there too.
Well, that's now the second time he's cramped up, so a little dehydration. Great teammate, Tyzhaun Claude, helping him over. Gotta love to see that. So Miles Kelly checks back into the game, but definitely cramping and in pain on the bench right now.
5 to shoot. Franklin, Southern's leading scorer, has got 2 more.
Again, knifing his way into the paint and finishing at the cup. He's been doing that all game.
Yeah, he's now got 13. That's a game high. Sacco turns it over. Here comes Avante Parker, the freshman, spinning, pausing, lifting. It's short. And the rebound into the hands to Amari Abram. Kelly. Tick back. Sacco's got it. Second chance opportunity. Another rebound, and before the jump ball, a foul called. That's going to be on Avante Parker.
And credit Sacco, 2 great passes. Recognition of open shooters. Didn't go down, but give your teammate, give him some help. Give him the assist. Knock one down for him. Sacco's trying to help you. Unselfish play at its finest.
And Miles Kelly off the inbounds, a little bit of a roar. Look at the offensive glass there, John. That's been a telling number. The Jackets now +7. And a timeout call by Georgia Southern. They got to talk things over. Still only a 3-point game, but the Eagles facing foul trouble and the momentum turning against them. On top in the Sun Belt, well, one thing we know for sure, nobody really has a strong opinion. I mean, James Madison, they got the 7 first-place votes, but everyone else has a sprinkled first-place vote here and there, and should be a lot of fun to watch Sun Belt Conference basketball. And Georgia Southern, similar to Georgia Tech in a lot of ways, they just haven't finished very high in the standings recently, and they're picked to finish 13th out of 14. So the Eagles out of the break. It's Avante Parker, the freshman who had 28 in their exhibition. Just 2 points tonight. He's got a couple more.
That was the savvy and the poise to not travel, take the contact, finish with the left hand off the glass. A timely basket for the Eagles. 1-point game.
He's out of Columbia, South Carolina, the Gray Academy. They feed it back to Claude. That has a lot of time to think about it. It's wide right. Tidwell. Bradford in rhythm, short. Sturdivant, little 3-on-2. Lob entry, cross court, the extra pass to Coleman. He drains it. Deebo Coleman now with 10 points tonight.
Great recognition by Claude. He drew the double team, had the rotation defensively scrambling, and Deebo knocks it down on the corner.
Georgia Tech now 3 of 6 from distance this half. Just a touch too strong that time. Sturdivant. Kelly feeling it. Well, it's no question, John. We've talked about both first-year coaches. They've got NBA backgrounds. Charlie Henry, Georgia Southern, assisted with the Bulls for a couple of years. Damon Stoudemire, in addition to playing in the NBA, he also coached the last couple of seasons with the Celtics, also with the Grizzlies about 10 years ago. And the three-pointer is a big part of the NBA game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've really noticed the spacing, the emphasis on spacing and isolation plays, finding the mismatch. Right there, you see a nice in and out on the double. But Charlie Henry, we spoke to him yesterday afternoon. He talked all about spacing and finding mismatches.
We'll talk some more about that when we come back. The Yellow Jackets leading 52-48. It's been Deebo Coleman off the bench with 10 for the white and gold.
Give Reeves the assist. Jackets up 4.
Try and survive some foul trouble. Tyron Moore, Carlos Curry, each with 4. You got Cam Bryant and Avante Parker with 3. And John, you know, they haven't had to pay for it on the scoreboard necessarily as the Yellow Jackets turn over the Eagles out of the timeout, because Georgia Tech shooting below 60% from the free throw line. But if they don't get those guys back in soon, this game could get away from them.
That's 2-possession game, so, and again, the roster's a little bit depleted. Like you said, Deuce Dean, Eugene Brown, David Jones not playing on the Georgia Southern roster, so they're thin already. They cannot afford foul trouble.
And Kelly nearly snuck up behind Tidwell. So they're gonna have to lead on a couple of their bench players. Colin Cool, the freshman out there down in the post. This here is Cam Bryant. He's playing with 3 and he lays it in.
Right there, isolation, find the advantage, go at it. And Charlie Henry spoke all about that yesterday on the phone when we interviewed him.
Well, that goes back to the spacing, like you said, and I think that's an NBA mindset, right? When you look at the pieces on the chessboard and see, where do I have my opponent beat? And Kelly keeps it in bounds somehow. Nice bounce pass. The Jackets whip it around. It's Sturdivant, and he connects.
Big shot by the senior Sturdivant. Great ball movement by the Yellow Jackets. Unselfish play. I've been impressed with the ball movement tonight by the Yellow Jackets. Three-point shooting's not dropping at the rate they would want, but that was a big shot by Sturdivant. Credit the unselfish play.
Cam Bryant, fade away. No. But to your point about Kyle Sturdivant, you look at, you know, the last 8 games of last season, a lot of people forget he averaged 13 points and 6 assists in those final 8 games. Best stretch of his Tech career. Coleman got it. Oh, that was pure.
And I like it. Another assist. Deebo points to his point guard, Sturdivant. You know, the little things like that, the camaraderie. I love that Deebo pointed to his point guard after making the 3 and getting the assist.
It's now 5 threes on 9 shots for Georgia Tech in this half. And Colin Cool. Talk about poise underneath.
And he's a freshman. You know, the Holly Springs, North Carolina product. He's a nice-looking freshman for the Sun Belt.
6-point edge for Georgia Tech. That 8-point lead was their largest of the night. Claude, an aggressive one-hand bounce pass. It's a battle, and we got a jump ball. The arrow pointing to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, with a 6-point lead, they've got a chance to maybe get a little bit of breathing room. Have not been able to create separation.
And a timeout on the floor from Georgia Tech. Coach Stoudemire senses this opportunity, John. He wants to talk it over and see if they can avoid a photo finish here on opening night. And Mayor Andre Dickens, all Georgia Tech alumni, taking in Game 1 of this season and Game 1 of the Damon Stoudemire era. And John, as we were going to break, you pointed out that Georgia Tech perhaps trying to take advantage of this opportunity to pull away. And the reason they have it is because they have shot the ball from three-point land much better than what we saw in the first half.
Yeah, and credit Deebo. Deebo's knocked down 2 threes in the second half. Coleman now with 13 points. He's 4 of 7 from the line, but 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. So Yellow Jackets taking high percentage shots, unselfish play. Sturdivant's had some nice assists, Wiley.
Yellow Jackets have 6 seconds to shoot here out of the inbounds pass. Kelly lets it fly, and he gets it. 9-point edge for the Yellow Jackets, and Miles Kelly. He's got 14 points to lead all Tech scorers.
Yeah, and he made something out of nothing right there. Put the body on Cool, bumped him off, raised up. Tough shot.
Cam Bryant taking on Sturdivant. And they're going to get Sturdivant for a foul there.
Charlie Henry's just going to ride that Cam Bryant mismatch right there. But look at this. The poise, the step back, just enough space. Great execution by Miles Kelly. Timely shot. Yellow Jackets now with their largest lead of the game, 9. 7:46 to play. But going after Cam Bryant, that mismatch. Isolation.
And on cue, John, that 9-point lead forces Coach Henry's hand, and a blocking foul there on Coleman. Bryant reaches in to help him up. But look at who's checked back in the game for Georgia Southern. Tyron Moore and Carlos Curry are both back with 4 fouls.
Yeah, they've weathered the storm a little. Coleman, let's see this. Let's get another look. Oh, I thought he could have got the charge there. It was a heady play by Coleman. Didn't get it. Here we go again. Isolation ball.
And this time, that's an offensive foul on Cam Bryant, and he reached around Kowacie Reeves.
I think that might have been a little bit of a makeup right there. A little wrap at the end, but the official crew kind of felt like they missed the first one and wanted to even the score.
So Bryant, Curry, and Moore, all with 4 fouls. Seven and a half to play. Curry gets it down to Claude. And Miles Kelly, Coleman out on the same page.
And credit the Eagles. You know, they jumped the basketball right there. Almost 10 seconds left in the shot clock. They went with a hard trap and forced the turnover. Little run and jump action, 10 seconds under on the clock.
Georgia Tech had 8 turnovers in the first half. They've done a marginally better job taking care of the basketball here in the second. And there's a turnover forced by Tech. Sturdivant. And Deebo Coleman with the hammer.
Bring the house down. Sturdivant gets the assist. That's the energy they want right now. Turning great defense into solid offense. Deebo with the exclamation point on that one. He got up.
And for the first time tonight, we've got a double-digit lead. Three-pointer, and Georgia Southern needed that. Carlos Curry went 0 for 2 all of last year from 3, John. He's 2 for 2 tonight. I think I know what he was doing this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 rebounds, 9 points to go with. He's been straddled on the bench with 4 personals. That's a big absence. Miles Kelly matches.
Yeah, speaking of being straddled, Carlos Curry was straddled on the bench. Now he's straddled on the floor.
Tech up 11.
Tidwell muscling his way. He's a born scorer. 5'11", but averaged 21 points last year. This is his first ever Division I game in his 5th year of college basketball. No problem scoring in the second half. Kowacie Reeves, he's in on the party. Another triple, and it is rolling. A tsunami.
Heated up. Tyzhaun, the kick out to Kelly, the unselfish one-timer to the corner. Buckets, Jackets now in control for the first time in this one. Up 12, 5:30 to play.
Claude, spin move. Oh, nearly caught it to fall around 2 defenders. Oh, and Curry and Moore have their minds on different things. Another turnover. Jackets have hit 5 straight threes. And a foul on Avante Parker.
And Sturdivant, he dodged the turnover right there. That was a long, flat, kind of lackadaisical pass. Avante just didn't have eyes on the ball.
So Parker becomes the 4th Eagle with 4 fouls. EB DeWanna, his full name's Ebenezer, but goes by EB. He checks in and receives the inbounds pass. 5 minutes. Georgia Tech trying to salt this one away. Their largest lead of the night. They have gone 8 for 12 from beyond the arc this half. And
you got a charge on the baseline or stepping on the line?
I thought
Reeves.
it might have been out of bounds. I think Reeves just
painting the sideline with his heel.
That's what I think it was. Georgia Southern needs a run. Tyron Moore trying to give it to him. That's a start. He's now got 10.
4 of 9 from the field. 2 of those coming from beyond the arc, and he's got 4 rebounds to go with it.
Kelly down the lane. What a move, Miles Kelly. Oh. And a turnover, Reeves. The Yellow Jackets out and running. Coleman lays it in. Deebo Coleman now with 15 points and a timeout called by Georgia Southern. Coleman, first the assist to Kelly for the 3. Kowacie Reeves.
Georgia Tech needing a spark off the bench, and that's a spark right there. The flush with authority. Georgia Tech's trio, though. Kelly, Reeves, Coleman. 13 points for Kelly, Reeves 8, 13 for Kelly, 7 of 9 collectively from beyond the arc. That's been the difference.
Somebody, I want to say, I don't know, maybe hour and a half ago, talked about how Deebo Coleman could be a spark plug off the bench. Who was that, John?
Hey, you know, I had a crystal ball.
Don't share that with anybody.
But unselfish play.
Yeah.
I mean, credit Sturtevant has been an impact player right now in terms of just pushing tempo, seeing the floor, and then Tyzhaun Claude drawing double teams and finding the open man. It's been beautiful to watch in the second half. Georgia Tech playing unselfish basketball.
And that's reflected in the assist total as well. 16 assists on 24 buckets. Meanwhile, Georgia Southern, you know, they've struggled to get that going a little bit. Just 6 assists on their 22 field goals.
And Georgia Tech's 13 of 22 from the free throw line, so they've left 9 points at the free throw line. They would have some serious breathing room if they were shooting the free throw well tonight.
So Parker hits the first, not the second. Tech has made 8 of the last 9 shots from the field. Trying to milk a little bit of clock here, perhaps, as we get into the final minutes. Kelly, that's been his spot, and it will continue to be.
He's feeling it, Wiley. He is feeling it.
And he gets the rebound off the long miss from Parker.
Kelly, 22 points on 8 of 17 from the floor, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. 5 rebounds, 3 assists to go with it. What a second half. He's putting on a show.
Yeah, it's only one night, but he looks all ACC here in game number 1.
Wiley, don't put that pressure on him. I mean,
hey, I'm not putting it on him. Coach Stoudemire said it
all right
before the season to the media in a press conference. We need Miles Kelly to be all ACC, if not All-American.
Hey, iron sharpens iron. Let him have it. Let's go. All-American, first team, Wiley. His coach did it.
You got to vote. David Stoudemire, first team All-American, Mighty Mouse. Claude hits the first free throw. Is that foul charge to Jamar Franklin?
Is that the double-double right there? Tyzhaun Claude, 10 points, 10 boards, 3 assists. I like his court vision. His ability to take care of the basketball, find the open man, draw some double teams. He's going to be a mismatch problem. He can face up, put it on the ground. Versatile player.
His 15th career double-double, his first as a Yellow Jacket, and it'll be Georgia Tech basketball.
Well, tell you what, the Eagles, Georgia Southern gave the Jackets all they could handle for a good 32 minutes of this one. It was a one-possession game, and then Jackets just poured it on late.
And that's now 2 times out on the floor this year, if you count the exhibition, John, that Georgia Tech has shot the 3 extremely well. Tonight they're at 46%. Number will go down a little bit there with Deebo. But that's going to be a huge part of this team's offensive game plan. And quite plainly, if they don't shoot it well, they're not going to have the success they want this season. And we've seen it twice now where they have multiple guys who can hit from long range. And Reeves draws the foul on a reach in. Going to be on Malik Tidwell.
I really like what I see out of Jamar Franklin tonight. He's been impressive. He's definitely caught my eyes. Getting to the paint, they're putting him in ISO situations. He's a tough guard. He's got length, strength, he's agile. He's made the most of his minutes tonight.
Well, it's important to note, too, I mean, we've talked about it a couple of times, but normally on opening night, you expect to at least be at full strength for one game. Neither of those teams made it through the preseason unscathed by injury. Georgia Southern without their top point guard, Deuce Dean, tonight. One of their most promising post players, Eugene Brown III, a transfer from Ohio State. And then David Jones, another big piece in their front court, also out tonight. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech, they're missing Lance Terry, who, as you pointed out, second leading returning scorer, averaged 10 points a night last year. And I'm telling you, the one name that we haven't had a chance to talk about tonight because he hasn't been on the court, but Bai Ndongo. I've talked to some people around the program, John. They feel like he could very well be their #1 option at the 5 spot as just a freshman.
That's impressive. Yeah, depth. The depth of the Jackets, I've been impressed. They can legitimately go 10, 11 deep. And the physicality of it, they look, even the younger guys look ready to go. And
that'll be it there as you get a look at Ndongo, or at the Georgia Tech bench, rather. That's actually Ibrahim Souare. There's Ndongo there with the cast on, sitting next to Lance Terry. But, that's going to be a market change. If you've watched Georgia Tech basketball the last 5 years, you're going to see a much deeper rotation. Miles Kelly finishing opening night in style. And a little words afterwards, perhaps. We've already seen Kelly charged with 1 technical tonight. That's the length you're talking about, John.
He's a talent. I mean, he can do a lot of things well, and he's only going to get better under the tutelage of a guy like Damon Stoudemire and the coaching staff he's assembled.
So we've got a foul here on Jamar Franklin. And a technical foul has been assessed to Deebo Coleman. And it's a double technical because Jamar Franklin was also assessed a technical foul. We've got our fair share of technical fouls tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, we've seen a few, and Deebo's got to have the maturity to walk away from that. It's usually the second guy that gets caught. In that case, he retaliated.
So 5 total technicals tonight, but the Jackets a 20-point lead in the closing moments, and they turn over Georgia Southern again.
So Jackets up 20. Head coach Damon Stoudemire gets his first head coaching victory at home on Kremen's Court here at McCamish Pavilion in Atlanta.
I would say it's been a more than a successful debut. Sturdivant, he found that shooting stroke at the end of last season, John. It looks like it's survived the offseason, may have even been improved.
He looks great. 6 assists, 1 turnover. That's what he does great. His assist to turnover ratio, he's a floor general. Throwing 8 points. He's 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Shot selection on point. What you would expect from a senior.
And Bradford stepped on the line. This will kill the shot clock. Miles Kelly, 25 points. And talk about a phenomenal second half. 19 of those 25 coming in the final 20 minutes. 7 for 10 overall and 4 for 6 from three-point land. Tech hit 9 of 14 threes in the second half. And they will cruise to a comfortable win here on opening night. The Yellow Jackets have won 5 of their last 8 season openers, 7 straight against in-state opponents. And most importantly, the Damon Stoudemire era begins with a W.